Hey yo, what's good? It's your boy Mixtape Moth, and today I'm going to hit y'all with a review of the new Rick Ross album entitled Richer Than I've Ever Been. Let's get to it. Alright, so Rick Ross is a rapper, businessman, and record executive coming out of Miami. Now, over the past decade and some change, Rick Ross has really been the face of luxury rap. Although others also do it quite well, Rick Ross has been at the forefront for this specific lane in hip hop. His music can be looked at as a soundtrack to a lifestyle of opulence and material success, and whether you love him or hate him, he does have a consistent track record in making decent albums that have really elegant and lavish production. So this new project, Richer Than I've Ever Been, is his 11th studio album and his first release since 2019's Port of Miami 2. We see that he switched the cover art from the church lady one that he had prior to now this more conventional and standard Rick Ross album cover. And I'm sure that was done to eliminate some of the roasting that happened on social media. This album contains 12 tracks and lasts approximately 42 minutes in length. But with that being said, let me go ahead and just hit y'all with this track by track breakdown. The opener, Little Havana, features some words from the former drug kingpin Willie Falcon and some solid crooning from The Dream. And it is backed by a synth heavy instrumental from Boy Wonder that has a sleek bass line. Ross brags about really throwing money and really seeing Big Meech in the flesh. It's nothing new that we haven't heard before, but the production is pretty suave, and I thought Dream's hook was good. Now, track 2, The Pulitzer, is a punchy banger produced by Timbaland. This contains more boasting from Ross, who raps about his 1,000-acre mansion. All in all, it's an aggressive piano banger, plain and simple. It's very short and to the point, but effective. Track 3 is the Benny the Butcher assisted rapper Estates. Here we get a lavish soundscape from Boy Wonder that fits the aesthetic of the song title, as it's very mafioso chic. Ross and Benny can be seen toasting to their success as they have beaten the odds. It's your standard rags to riches narrative. Benny has now positioned himself to where he is featured on commercial artist albums pretty regularly. So it's evident that he is living out his dream, and I can respect all the success that he has received in the last year or so. Ross raps, I know the place where the rats and roaches would race. Now it's rap dudes, smoke-filled estates, who envisioned my initials at the gates. Then Benny, who had the better verse, talks about transitioning from the streets into a rap deal as he raps, no handouts, I'm going on 3 summers legit, machine cutter west of me, each one of us rich. Ross decides to double back for a second verse. He did have a line that was interesting and a little ambiguous. I'm at the fork in the road, which way, Hove or Mace? Right after is the suspenseful but low-key track Marathon, produced by Street Runner. The production is cinematic but ultra mellow and a bit nocturnal, thus giving off a James Bond feel. This might contain some of the best Ross lyrics on this project. He attempts to give out some game and motivation with his boss-like rhetoric. He also adds a splash of social commentary with the following lines. Black lives really matter now. Tell Emmett Till about it. George Floyd was face down as you guys stood around it. Did your little FaceTimes, left the neighborhood astounded. Track 5 is Warm Words in a Cold World, featuring Wale and Future. The instrumental, produced by Bink, contains the same soul sample that was used for LL Cool J's Ill Bomb from back in the day, although it's slowed down a bit. And this is just a fly and dope record where they all talk about how they are as cold as Alaska and they are all able to ice out all their shorties. I feel both Wale and Ross had solid verses, but it was Future that stood out the most to me with his energy. All in all, I do have this as one of the highlights from the album. Immediately following is the stripper anthem Wiggle featuring Dream Doll. It has a thumping beat from Don Cannon that samples an old Juvenile song. It's not a bad track for what it is. I kind of like the confident swag that Dream Doll brought to this track, although I thought her line to Ross about this one being a missile seemed a little cringeworthy. It just reminded me of something that you would hear on a Khaled record. What comes next is Can't Be Broke, which features Young Een Ace and Major 9, two auto crooners that I really don't know anything about. The beat provided by Johnny Shipes pretty much epitomizes the sound of what's popping now in terms of modern melodic trap. This has a decent vibe, as I like the piano production, but nothing lyrically stood out to me at all, so I doubt I'll revisit this. Then track 8 is Make It Out Alive, featuring the West Coast crooner Blast. It's a survivor's anthem about making it out the mud and the gutter in one piece. While I could respect the concept, there was something a little generic about the production, as I feel this could have been a better song, but it was missing something. Right after is the more ambitious A-Rap music produced Outlaws with Jasmine Sullivan and 21 Savage. This has more of an epic feel to the production, which was more multi-layered. Although I feel Rick Ross didn't have a big presence on this record, as Jasmine Sullivan completely took over with her bold and powerful voice. 21 Savage had a better verse than Ross too. Yeah, as a whole, this was one of the stronger songs from the album. Track 10 is Imperial High. This has a ghostly beat from DJ Toomp that is crisp and well produced, and it's evident that Toomp still has it on the production front. On here, Ross talks about holding it down for his homies who were locked, putting money on their books, while also living his fly and extravagant lifestyle. It's a cool listen that I really have no complaints with. The second and last track is Richer Than I've Ever Been, and this is built around a piano trap beat. It initially featured Lil Baby, but he didn't make the album. Now, despite this having a pretty decent beat, it was a monotonous listen to hear Ross boast about his material possessions for the 100th time. I was hoping perhaps that he would have given us a little deeper spiritual meaning to the Richer Than I've Ever Been theme, but no, it's just about his monetary wealth, and it's not even done in a clever or creative way. The album then wraps up with Hella Smoke featuring Wiz Khalifa. I like the groovy and lush beat from Fuse 808 and Bobby Keys. I suppose the Wiz feature wasn't bad either, but lyrically this was nothing standout. Overall, I give this album a rating of a strong 3 mics. I feel it was good, worth checking out. Maybe given that the production was mostly good, I could bump this up to a 3.5 if I'm being generous, as I feel sonically the beats did cater to the Ross aesthetic. So he did stick to the script and was able to give fans what they would expect instrumentally. Although a couple of the beats felt a little less epic and lavish than on past efforts. I just don't see this as being regarded as one of the better releases from Ross's consistent discography, but it's not whack. There are some highlights here and there, but I feel Ross gave us the bare minimum at times. Even lyrically, there wasn't much to pull from or to really be inspired by. Sure, I understand that people go to Ross for a specific style of luxury rap, but I don't think it was done in a creative way on this album. I mean, there were some clever lines here and there, in fairness. Although on past efforts, I feel that he had gone a little deeper and given us some spiritual and introspective content, but not on this album. However, the good news was that Ross didn't overstay his welcome with just 12 tracks. Thankfully, it wasn't bloated and there weren't many skips. It can mostly be played the whole way through, but I didn't love all of it equally. My favorite tracks include The Pulitzer, Rapper Estates, Marathon, Warm Words in a Cold World, and Outlaws. Let me know what you thought about this album in the comment section below. It's your boy Mixtape Moth. I'm signing out, but be sure to hit that like button and please subscribe. As always, it's peace and blessings. Rick Ross, Richer Than I Ever Been, 1.